Good afternoon, guys. So I am here today and I have my little Ella Grace with me. And for those who don't know who I am Baby Nadia. Well, formerly known as Baby Nadia, but I still keep that name. And this right here is little Ella Grace. She is the cookie sculpt. She is an edition baby done by Claire Taylor. She's number 2 in her edition. And I wanted to come on and make a video. Yesterday I made a video and I had a lot of interference with my son, and he's home now, but he's in the bedroom. That's why I'm doing the video in my living room. And hopefully the lighting is good. It is nice and sunny out. I have my front door open. And yeah, so we're gonna hope for the best. So anyway, I was watching YouTube yesterday. What gave me the inspiration to do a video? I was watching YouTube videos yesterday and I came across ShellBea's one of her videos. I watch her all the time, but I came across her video and I think it was her latest video. Well, yesterday it was her latest video. I don't know if she made a video today. I don't know, guys, my dreads need to be done. I keep fixing it, but it's unfixable at this point. So y'all just gonna have to rock with me with it. But anyway, she did a video and it kind of gave me inspiration yesterday to do the video because she did a video regarding how did she get exposed to the hobby, how did she come across the hobby, how did she start the hobby, you know, all of that. So, and what really drew me to her video was because she was holding her baby and she said that, you know, she decided to take it to what I call it old school. Because back in the day, and she said it, and I have to agree with her, back in the day, we used to, us Reborn and Silicone Mommies, used to do more videos with us on the screen, us, you know, featured in the video along with our babies. But we got away from that. I know I have, you know, it's kind of easier not to get dressed up and everything and just showcase what most people want to see, the baby. But I do understand where she was coming from, because for me, I think when you show yourself with the baby, it's more personal. So I decided to do one of the videos like hers, you know. She gave me inspiration. I mean, I was not doing no videos. It's hot. I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to do what I had to do to prepare to make a video and everything. Oh, excuse me. But after I seen her video, I said, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing. So I just want to thank ShellBea for giving me inspiration to do a video. A lot of times when you watch somebody's videos and you don't have any content, their content kind of help you have content. So I'm piggybacking off of her video. She said it was a requested video. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was requested for her to be on the video or requested for her to tell how she got introduced into the hobby. But I'm going to go with both. I'm going to go with being on the video and also telling you guys how I got introduced into the video. Into the hobby. And I decided to also do something that I never do. I decided to feed little Ella Grace. You guys know I said I would never put a bottle in her mouth. It's just something I don't do. So I decided to go old school. When I had my reborns, I used to just pretend like the bottle was in their mouths, because for me, all my reborns mouth wasn't big enough where I could fit a real baby bottle in their mouth. So what we used to do for the people who had reborns, we used to press the bottle up against their mouths so it can look like we are feeding our baby. So I decided to do that because I feel like that's more safer than actually trying to do one-handed inserting a nipple into her mouth one-handed. I'm not going to even try to do that. So yeah, and while I feed her, I will talk to you guys about how I got into the hobby of reborns and silicones. So before I do all that, I had tried to make a bottle. I think I failed miserably, if you ask me. I see a lot of people, they have the fake breast milk. I tried it. I like the more colossal version of it. That's the first stuff that comes out of you when you're getting ready to breastfeed after you have your baby. It's usually yellow, like a deeper yellow. I think I could have went less yellow, but I wasn't gonna do it again. So I said, you know what? It's just gonna be what it is, you know. But I'm gonna come on and feed her this fake colossal and in her Suavenex bottle. I guess I'm going old school all the way around, guys, because these Suavenex bottles, I made a video of my bottle collection. These Suavenex bottles was out a long time ago. We all had them, you know, almost all of us had them. If not, you wanted to have it, you know. It was hard to get because they didn't sell them in the US. You actually had to go to the Suavenex store, or you had to go to eBay and get them. I used to go to eBay and get them. I had this lady on eBay that lived probably in South America or Mexico or somewhere where she was able to buy these bottles and sell them on eBay. So like I said, these are the Suavenex. And what drew me to these bottles is the amazing prints on them. They have so many different colors, so many different prints, and it was different than what we used to get in the US. So this one here, it has a little girl on it. On the side it says, hey girl, and on the other side it says, wake up. And it says Suavenex on the, here. But what I really liked was the nipples. You had so many different color nipples. You had the latex, and then you had the silicone. I would never simulate nor put a latex bottle in my silicone or nor my reborn baby mouth because I'm scared that I will mess up the paint. I'm trying to get all the cat hair off of here. I have a cat and it's the summertime, so he's shedding. But yeah, so what I did was for this video, I decided to use the silicone nipple, but they have so many shaped nipples. They have this kind of shape. They have the flatter version. They have the latex, like I said. They have the silicone. And it's just a cool bottle. It was always, for me, a cool bottle. Their pacifiers was even more sought after because the print on those pacifiers you couldn't find nowhere, you know, in the US. So I used to get the bottles and I used to try to get the matching pacifiers for each bottle that I purchased. Sometimes she didn't have it, sometimes she did. So what I do is, for video purposes, I'm going to push the nipple down like that. I'm going to put it up against little Ella Grace's mouth, and voila, it looks like she is feeding, you know, and that makes me feel a little better, makes me worry less, because I'm scared that putting bottles back and forth in her mouth will mess up her paint. And I am not doing this, the KY. I don't even own KY jelly in my house, the lubricant. So yeah, if I did have the KY, I'm too lazy to clean out her mouth after, because then I feel like you're stretching her mouth out trying to clean out the KY jelly. So I feel like, you know, this right here still give the effect of her eating, and I feel a little less stressed out about, you know, how I'm feeding her, how I'm simulating feeding her. So yeah, guys, so like I said, ShellBea did an amazing video. People who have been in the hobby for a while, we kind of get what she was saying about you know, featuring yourself in the videos. I do know a lot of people who do it still, but you know, for the most part, we all did it. You know, we all did it at least once or twice, you know, a month, or whenever we made a video, we tried to showcase ourselves. Like I said, I feel like it's more personal. You get to see the mommy, you get to see the baby, and you get to see, especially when we're having conversation videos, you know. Conversation videos, you know, you show your face, you hold the baby, and that's just what we did. But like ShellBea said, you know, not a lot of us do it anymore. You do have some, but before, back in the day, it was a lot more, you know. So yeah. So anyway, she also did the videos talking about how she got into the hobby. So I just gonna piggyback off of her whole video. She said it was a requested video. I'm going to hope that she, after seeing my video, hopefully she watch it. But after seeing my video, hopefully she'll make it into a tag video, because a lot of us have done this kind of video where we talk about how we came across the hobby. But you know, you get new subscribers every day. You know, you get people who stumble across your channel every day, and then if they like your content, they tend to subscribe. So they don't know, you know, stuff that you did back in the day. They didn't see videos that you made back in the day unless they go all the way back on your old videos. Now me, if I like the content on somebody's video and I really like it, I will watch all your videos, even years ago, like videos that you made years ago, if it's there. If I like your video and really like your videos, I'm gonna watch everything you ever made, you know? So, but not everybody is like that. So I decided to come on, even though I have made this video numerous times about how I stumbled across the hobby. I didn't go way deep into it. So I figured, you know what, I'll just let it all hang out and tell y'all how I got into the hobby. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, anyway, this is how it started. It started for me, it was suggested that I find a hobby. It was suggested from one of my, a social worker that I had. I had a social worker because the kind of job that I have is very stressful. I ended up having a fork in the road, and I took the road less traveled. Something that could get me into a lot of trouble, where I was messing up at work, you know. So I had got an evaluation, and that was my first one that was bad. You know, I had got a bad evaluation. So it struck me to my core, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, you know. When I want to do something, I put my all into it. But because I was burnt out at work and stuff like that, I couldn't perform the best of my abilities. And I guess my sergeants found out or could see, so they basically gave me a bad evaluation. So after I got the bad evaluation, you know, my sergeant pulled me to the side because he saw that it affected me. And he told me he could help me, you know, he could help me with whatever was going on in my mind. Thank God that I had a sergeant who kind of cared, you know, because he hooked me up with, it's called EAP for my job. It's an employees assistant program. So like when you get burnt out, you know, they have all kind of services, not just for when you get burnt out, but if you have family problems, anything like that, anything pertaining to what will affect your job, they help you with that. But you have to be the one that reach out. Now, it's a stigma that goes with that at my job. You know, a lot of us know that we have it, but we don't use it because it's a stigma to go into EAP. It seems like you're not strong enough to handle and being burnt out. So you go to, and you seem weak if you try to look for help. So a lot of us know it's there, but we tend to not go and seek help. So when my sergeant told me about it, he gave me the phone number. I called somehow or another. At first I didn't do it. I didn't call at first. I just took the number and everything because, you know, like I said, the stigma that goes with it. So he basically kept checking in. Hey, did you call? Did you call? I said no. So I finally got tired of him asking me every time he came around. So I called. So they I told them what was going on. I just told them I felt burnt out. I felt tired. I was tired. You know, that's all I kept telling them. I'm tired. And so they hooked me up with a counselor. And from the counselor, I had got hooked up with a social worker. So I guess I was more tired than what I thought I was, you know, because I guess the counselor was like, okay, this girl needs more help than what I can provide. So like I said, I started going to see this social worker and counselors and everything like that. And they told me that I had to get a hobby. With my job, a lot of us don't have an outside life, you know. A lot of us our job revolves around the job. All our friends are people from the job because we don't know how to deal with civilians. We don't talk about what goes on in our job because civilians don't understand. they either look at you with pity, and that's not what we're looking for when we talk about it, or they'll look at you judgy because of what we have to do sometimes, or they just look at you with a blank stare because they just don't understand. So we tend to just talk to each other. And I'm gonna tell you, my coworkers are not good counselors. You know, they just tell you, suck it up, put your big girl panties on, and do your job. You know what I'm saying? So, the counselor, the social worker, he told me that I need to find something that don't have nothing to do with the job, something that I like to do, something that was for me. Now, I had the job for a while now, so I didn't know what I liked to do. I thought I liked going to work and hanging out with my friends, my coworkers. So I had to figure out, what do I like? You know, what draws me away from my job that I'll be okay with, you know? So one day I was reading the newspaper. I was reading the Daily News. That was the newspaper for the city. And at the end of the newspaper, it was this ad for Paradise Galleries dolls. You know, and I was like, what is this? Because for me, they looked so real. We're talking about like 11 years ago, 12 years ago, or maybe even 13 years ago. These dolls for me looked so real. Now, I was always a person who liked dolls. You know, I'm a girl, most of us do. And so seeing that, you know, brought me back to my childhood, where I wanted a doll. I wanted this doll, you know. And so I didn't get it right away. I was mesmerized by how realistic they looked, because at this time, all I saw was Paradise Galleries. I never seen a reborn. I didn't know nothing about reborns. I just seen this doll, and this doll for me looked so realistic, you know. So I wanted this doll. Now, I didn't buy it right away because it was expensive for me at the time. I was like, oh, that's a lot of money for a doll, because growing up, you know, your dolls cost $20, $30, you know. I think the most expensive doll I ever had growing up was a Cabbage Patch Kid. And I was I'm at that era where Cabbage Patch Kids was hard to come by. So when you had a Cabbage Patch Kid doll, you know, your parents paid a lot of money for it. But I myself never paid a lot of money for a doll before. You know, it was always my parents, whatever they bought me, I played with. So with that being said, I didn't buy it because at the time I thought that was a lot of money. Now looking back, that's pennies compared to what we paid for these dolls. But like I said, at the time, it was a lot of money for me. So I always bought the Sunday newspaper, the Sunday Daily News, because of the coupons. But I always seen this ad for these Paradise Gallery dolls, you know. So one day I just was like, you know what? I'm going to buy one. So when I received the doll, oh my gosh, I was so in love, guys. I quickly went out, bought clothes for the dolls, but I didn't buy like expensive clothes. I used to go to the Goodwill and eBay and buy their kind of clothes, you know. I couldn't bring myself into buying new clothes, expensive clothes for a doll. At that time, it was unheard of for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's going too far, you know. But I really love that Paradise Gallery doll, you know. So I think it was a little girl. So of course, after a while, I wanted the boy, because who don't want a boy to match the girl? So I went and bought a boy to go with my little girl, and I was just in heaven. So one day I was on Facebook and I seen a reborn. A girl posted a picture of her doll, and that doll looked better than my doll. So I was like, what doll is this? Is this a Paradise Galleries doll? They didn't say nothing about reborns on Paradise Galleries, but her doll was far superior than mine, you know. So I was like, okay, I have to Google reborns. So I Googled reborns, and it brought me to eBay. So I was like, I want one of these dolls, you know. I was searching for the next best thing, you know, what we all do. So I went to eBay, and I seen the doll that was a Bouncy Fruit baby doll. I never forget. The doll was on eBay for auction, and the artist was Natasha Ferguson. So it was far more money than the Paradise Gallery doll. I can tell you that much. And just like with the Paradise Galleries doll, I could not bring myself to pay that much money. I was like, oh, heck no. You know, that's a lot of money. That's more money than my Paradise Galleries doll. I was not trying to spend that kind of money for a doll, you know. So I went to my mom. I talked to my mom about it because she knew that I was into the Paradise Galleries doll. And she was just happy that her daughter started smiling again, because I guess, you know, everybody but me knew that it was a change in my demeanor, you know, because I was burnt out from work. So she supported me when I bought these Paradise Galleries dolls, and she was just happy that these little dolls was bringing a smile back on my face, bringing her daughter, the daughter that she used to have, back, you know. So when I told her about Reborn, I guess I was so excited talking to her about it. She suggested that I pay for it. Now, I was looking at my mother like, are you gonna pay for it? Because that's a lot of money. But she told me, you got money. You know, she said, you know, because at that time I had one child. He was like 16 years old, or 15 or 16. He had a job, you know. He worked as a summer camp counselor, and he also volunteered at the Salvation Army Church, or some kind of church like that. So he really didn't need a lot, you know, my son. And so I had a good job. So she told me, you work for it, you should get it. So once she gave me the blessing to get it, I guess I was looking for somebody to tell me it's okay, get it. I tried to bid on it, but that doll was sold. It already, somebody bid and somebody bought it. Guys, I was so sad because I loved that baby. I mean, it wasn't even my baby, but I knew that was my baby, you know, and I lost it. So I was mad at myself because I didn't pull the trigger and somebody else bought it, you know, and I was just really upset. So I contacted the artist, Natasha Ferguson. I looked for her on Facebook because I did know that everybody is on Facebook. So I typed her name in. She came up as a reborn artist, and I was hoping and praying. Back in the day, it wasn't that many scammers. So I was hoping and praying it was her, but not because I was hoping that it wasn't a scammer. I just hoped that it was her and not another one who make dolls and it's not the same. So she told me, yeah, she was the one who made this doll. She had named the doll Michaela. And she said, yes, I made the doll. And I asked her, can she make me one just like it? Now, at the time, guys, I didn't know that was a bad thing. That's a no-no. You don't copy off of other people's work, you know. I mean, copy off of other babies. You get your own. At that time, I didn't know no better because this was my first time with the reborns, you know. So she knew better, though, because she told me, no, I cannot make you the same baby. I can make you a baby that is beautiful, but I cannot duplicate this baby that you lost on eBay, that you didn't get to purchase. She said, but I can make you another baby, you know. So I had picked another scope, I think. I don't even think I picked the same scope. I might have picked the same scope. But she you know, she took care of me. I didn't know what I was doing. That was my first time getting accustomed. She took care of me. Thank God it was before scamming was out there like that, you know. And I received my first reborn. And guys, I'm going to tell you, my first reborn, you couldn't tell me nothing about her. I had got a little girl. I named her... Oh, man, I can't remember what I named her, but her pictures is on Facebook, guys. Like, you know, if you go do a deep dive on all my photos on Facebook, you should see her. She was the best baby in my eyes, you know, because I didn't know no better. But I can't even say that. Natasha Ferguson, God bless her soul, because she has since passed away, but and at a young age, if I may say so. But she was a great artist, you know. She was like the best artist for me, you know. A lot of it had to do with she was my first artist, but also she was, I have to give her props. She was a great artist. And as she matured, she got even better. She had a following that was out of this world. Everybody wanted the Natasha Ferguson baby, you know. So I'm a creature of habit. So after that one baby became two, became three, but I kept Natasha Ferguson as my artist, you know, because I don't like trying new things. When I find something that works for me, that is going to be what works for me forever. It was her untimely death that made me have to seek out another artist, you know. But by then, before she passed away, I have had so many babies by her. You know, I had the Miracle, I had a toddler, I had premature babies like the little preemies. I had two of those twins. I remember their names. They were Heaven and Neve, you know. And I just had a lot of babies by her, you know, because I was hooked on these babies, you know. And so once Natasha Ferguson passed away, I had to find another artist. I took it really hard because she became my friend. You know, we talked about things that wasn't doll related. You know, she actually became my friend. And so now I felt like I was cheating on her because of the fact that I was finding another artist. I mean, I was with Natasha for at least three, four, maybe even 5 years before she passed away, and I had to find somebody else. So I finally found somebody by the name of Lucy Barrion. Now, Lucy Barrion is a different caliber of artist. Lucy Barrion is basically was a prototype artist. You know, she had prototype babies, so it was something different for me, and she was more expensive. But after being with Natasha so long, the shell shock of the sticker price has since passed. I was willing to pay whatever for what I liked. You know, if I liked the doll, I was going to pay whatever I had to pay to get the doll, you know. So I ended up with Lucy Barrion, and like I said, her prices was, I'm going to pull y'all down a little bit so y'all can see her. Her prices were far more than what Natasha prices was. But like I said, the reason why was because she was a prototype artist, you know. And I think she won awards for her dolls. I mean, you know, she was at that time in a class by herself. So I stuck with Lucy for a very long time, guys. I stuck with Lucy Barrion for at least 10 years, you know, before she stopped making babies, you know, because she ended up getting this kind of disease where she couldn't, like, her nerves was bad, like her holding a spoon, holding a paintbrush. You could tell that she was struggling. So at that time, she stopped making babies. You know, I was still buying from her whenever she put, you know, she did a baby or whatever, but you could tell she was struggling at that time. So I knew at that time I had to venture out and find somebody else. Now, after Lucy Barrion, I had already started dabbling in silicones. I can't remember my first silicone artist name, but I do remember my second. My second silicone baby was a cloth body silicone baby. The artist was named Joanna Gomez, but with an S at the end. And you couldn't tell me nothing about that baby. Now, that baby I kept for a very long time because I was hearing people talk about silicones and the feel and how it's different than reborns. How once you get a silicone, you're not going to want another baby, you know. And at the time, I was like, yeah, I doubt that, because reborns for me was everything, you know, like the realism. And even to this day, I feel like reborns are far more realistic sculpting wise than silicone babies. You know, now the feel and the movement, I feel silicones is better, you know, but that's just what I feel. Everybody have their own thoughts on who's more superior, the silicones or the reborns. But for me, I always will gravitate towards a reborn for the realism of the sculpting. Now, for the feel and the movement and just dressing them and everything like that, is always going to be a silicone, because a silicone baby, you could have them walking around butt naked if you want to, and you don't see no cloth. But reborns for me is always going to have a special place in my heart. And to tell you the truth, guys, half of these reborns is priced just as much as a silicone baby is. You know, I think my baby by Alexa Carvo was just as much as a silicone baby, you know. But at that time, going way off the subject, at that time, I started dabbling in silicone babies. And after that, the rest was history, you know. At one point, though, I had a lot of dolls. I even had a baby vampire. The girl was selling it for $100. Okay, I begged my ex. He was my boyfriend. You know, my fiance at the time, my son's father. I had begged him to give me this $100 because he couldn't understand why I was buying these dolls. You know, I mean, it got so bad where he could tell when a doll cost a lot of money from when it didn't. He'll look at this doll and be like, that doll cost a lot of money, you know, because he could tell by the details and the painting. So at that time, I started hiding them. I used to buy them and hide them in my trunk until he went to work, and then I'll pull the box out of my trunk and just put them into the rotation with my other dolls and hope and pray that he didn't notice that there was a new doll in my nursery. The things we do, guys, the things we do. I know the things I do, but I had a lot of babies, you know. I had a lot of babies, and it started becoming overwhelming, you know. I wasn't playing with them. I think at one time I held 15 babies in my nursery, and I wasn't playing with them. I went through a phase where I couldn't, if I seen a doll, I had to get it. Sometimes it wasn't even worth getting, but I had to get it. I became addicted to it, you know. Now I have learned to pick and choose and know what I like and what I'm willing to pay for. And if I am going to pay a lot of money for something, it has to be something that I really, really want, you know. But at that time, I ain't know no better. I just saw a doll and I got it, you know. But I started selling them off because it was becoming overwhelming. Like I said, I wasn't playing with them. You know, and then I start feeling like, why have them if I'm not paying for them? I be playing with them. It became like I'm just holding money in my nursery and, you know, wasting money, basically. So I started selling them off and trying to get down to a reasonable amount of dolls, you know, and which I did, and then I was happy after that. But guys, that's what really brought me to the hobby. I believe that it was something that could have been detrimental to my job, to my health, to my life, is what brought me to this hobby. Something that was forged in despair, because I was sad and I didn't know I was sad. Brought out something that makes me so happy now, you know. So I know a lot of people, the way they started collecting isn't as dramatic as mine, but I'm gonna tell you the God honest truth, guys. Mine was dramatic because it's real life. It was life was life for me, and I was at a standstill. And I thank God for that one sergeant who took the time to pull me out of what I was going through. Because without him, I don't know what I would be, where I would be, how I would be, you know. And I think him holding my hand and checking in, hey, did you do it? Did you call the EAP? Did you get help? You know, I think just him doing that helped me get to where I'm at today with my life, because I have a beautiful life now. My life is amazing. You know, I still have the same job, but I learned how to have the tools in my toolbox to handle despair. You know, I learned, I have the social worker gave me tools to learn how to deal with stress. You know, at that time I was very young when I first got this job, and I didn't have the stress that my job brings to me. I never had that in my life, you know. So it was something that, you know, I didn't know how to cope with, you know. And with all of that despair, all of that sadness and everything that was going on in my life, it brought this, something as small as this, something as simple as a doll, brought me so much happiness and brought me out of what I was going through, you know. So I tend to protect my happiness with these dolls. I don't let nobody deter me from buying something that I want. If I want it and I really want it, I got the money for it, I buy it, because I know that brings me happiness, you know. Of course, my child bring me happiness, but at that time, I didn't have my son that I have now. I only had my teenager. He was off doing his own thing, as what teenagers do. So, you know, I just feel like I protect my hobby at all costs. I don't let drama, I don't let people bring me down. I don't let nasty comments bring me down, because I know without this hobby, or if I would have never found this hobby, where would I have been? I'm scared to even think. I'm scared to even think what my life would have been like if I didn't stumble across this hobby. And now I'm a sergeant, and I tend to try to pay forward. I tend to try to see the newbies come in, the new officers come in, and if I notice them struggling, like I see the telltale signs that I had, and if I see it, I'm there to hear them talk and hear them complain and stuff like that, because I'm trying to pay it forward, because it took a sergeant that invested his time in me to bring me out of what I was going through, and I just try to do the same thing, basically. It is what it is, It's work. You have to work, so you can't just go cry in the corner. So because I did it, I cried in the corner, and I still had to go to work the next day. So crying wasn't working. I had to figure out what was going to work for me, and these dolls work for me. Like when I have a bad day, sometimes after work doing 16 hours, I'll come home and I'll just hold her before I go to bed to go back to work. I'll hold her for like 5 minutes, rub her hair, touch her, pat her back. Then I go to sleep. And that little 5 minutes bring my stress level from here all the way down. And if it takes a longer time, I hold her longer. So, yep, guys. As dramatic as it sounds, it was a happy ending to all of that. I got my shit together. I learned how to deal with stress, and I found a hobby and that I really love. And I do believe that everybody should have a hobby, because that helps you distract you from your everyday life, everyday grind. So that's how I got into the hobby, guys. Woo! So anyway, I put on this outfit on her yesterday when I did the video the first time. Now, do you guys remember me complaining about Caden Lane? Well, I said in my video when I was complaining about them that thank God I only bought one nightgown, But come to find out, I bought the nightgown and this loungewear. So I said, you know what, let me put it on her, because I couldn't take it back. So I had to put it on her to see how it fit. I was thinking maybe the gown was a one-off, maybe the gown was just one outfit that was messed up. The rest of this stuff is good. So I tried this on her yesterday. What it is, it's a two-piece loungewear. It has the little shirt. The shirt has the little buttons, the fake wooden buttons, but they are functional. It's just fake wood. It's not real wood. And then it has what I call the yoga pants. I call them yoga pants because they fold over like how my yoga leggings do. Now, guys, the pants fit really good. Like, I had no problems putting it on her. But the shirt fit kind of ill-fitted. Like I said about the nightgown, the shirt fit the same way. It was really hard getting her hands through the holes of the shirt. They said that this is a newborn to 3 month size outfit. She's like a 1 to 2 month size baby. There's no reason why I should have had that much of a hard time getting her into this outfit, especially the shirt. Now, it is a pink, the most prettiest pink you ever going to see. And I was dedicated in getting that on her. Once I got one arm through, I said I might as well go all out and get the other arm through. But it took a long time for me to put this shirt on her when it shouldn't have, if it's a newborn to 3 month size outfit. But once I got it on her, I thought it was just so cute. Now, even with the nightgown that I was complaining about, it's not the print or the color that got me. It was more of the material. It wasn't stretchy enough, and they said in their description it was. The sizing was off. It had little loose dreads all over the place and everything like that. I just didn't care for the make of the outfit. They could have did a much better at making the outfit, you know. But the color and everything like that, I like, you know. This is like the prettiest pink you ever gonna see. Once you get the clothes on her, it looks good, you know. It's just getting it on her was a hassle. Now, I did put the the hand mitts on her, so that wasn't the problem. It was her arms. Her arms is not fat, so there's no reason why I should have had problems getting that shirt on her if it was stretchy enough. So, yeah, so if y'all do buy from Caden Lane, because they always run in the sale and stuff like that, just go with caution, move with caution. Like, don't go buying a newborn because your child is a newborn, your doll is a newborn. If they say newborn and newborn outfit, girl, go with the next size, you know. Don't go with the newborn because their clothes run small. That's all I could tell y'all. And be careful. Bring scissors with you because 10 to 1, you're going to be snipping little loose threads all over this the outfits, you know. This one I didn't have to do, but the nightgown I did. So, yeah. So, I was going to take it off of her and put on her, what's on, buddy? Cookie. Wait, get off. Come here, let me see. You made poopy? All right, guys, I'm going to have to go because my child made poop. One thing I'm going to say was that I was going to take this off of her, but I like her in it. I fought too hard to get her in it just to take it off of her the next day. So she will be in it for a little while. And I also want to thank ShellBea for doing this, for doing her video, because watching her video gave me inspiration to do a video, to get up and make a video, because I didn't make one in like almost 2 weeks, you know, and so it was going too long. And for me, if I don't do something back to back or, you know, close together, I'll stop doing it, you know. So thank you, ShellBea. I really think you should make this a tag video because a lot of people have different reasons or different scenarios on how they became a reborn mommy or a silicone mommy. It's kind of interesting to hear other people stories on how they stumbled across the hobby. I know a lot of us did it before, but let's do it again, guys. So ShellBea, if you're watching my video, maybe you could make it a tag video so we all could join in. I did piggyback off of her video. I hope she don't mind. But she did help me get my fat butt off that couch and make a video. So guys, go watch ShellBea's video. Her spelling of her name is ShellBea. And she had beautiful babies. She got the best clothes ever, and she just have good content, and she's funny. Like, she's funny. Like, I just smile and laugh sometimes at some of the things that she has the kahunas to say, you know. So yeah. So I gotta go, guys. I was gonna talk a little bit more, but my son stinks, so I gotta change his diaper. So as always, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time watching my videos and commenting. So yeah, guys, go check out ShellBea's video, and hopefully, like I said, she'll make it a tag video. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye-bye.